From a dark, bluesy road trip through the neon shadows of Los Angeles to a pounding proto-metal riff that shook the walls of rock forever, to a glam rock sneer that cut like a broken beer bottle. These are the 1971 rock songs radio wants you to forget. Tracks that were too intense, too raw, or just too strange for mainstream airplay, but became cult classics and underground anthems anyway. And one of them? It's a towering epic that starts with the most iconic drum sound in rock history. Comment if you think you know which song that is. Number 15, L.A. Woman, The Doors.
Girl in a Hollywood bungalow. Oh, you little lady in the city alive.
It's long, loose, and drenched in the neon haze of Los Angeles at midnight. L.A. Woman isn't just a song. It's a drunken road trip down Sunset Boulevard, tires squealing and guitars wailing. Released as the title track for The Doors' final album with Jim Morrison, it clocks in at nearly 8 minutes, way too long for mainstream radio. It's bluesy, gritty, and full of dirty, broken glass riffs that sound like they're echoing down a dark alley. The lyrics? Pure Morrison, cryptic, seedy, and obsessed with the city's dark side. Mr. Mojo Rising is Morrison rearranging his own name, turning himself into a mythic figure even as he spiraled toward his final days. It's a long, wild ride with no breaks, and it's still one of the purest snapshots of rock's dark side. And while The Doors were burning through the final days of the 60s dream, the next band on our list was about to crank the distortion, darken the mood, and invent an entire genre in the process. Number 14, Children of the Grave. Black Sabbath. It rumbles like a tank rolling through a battlefield. Children of the Grave isn't just a song, it's a warning, a call to arms, and a proto-metal masterpiece. Released on Black Sabbath's Master of Reality album in 1971, it took the doom and darkness of their earlier work and cranked it to 11. The guitar riff is monstrous. The drums hit like cannon fire, and Ozzy Osbourne's vocals howl like a prophet on a mountain. Lyrically, it's a dark, apocalyptic take on youth, war, and destruction. The perfect soundtrack for a generation freaking out about the Cold War and Vietnam. It was too heavy, too intense, and too loud for mainstream radio in 1971. But it caught on with the underground, becoming one of Sabbath's most beloved tracks and a blueprint for every metal band that followed. And while Sabbath were dragging rock into the abyss, the next band on our list was about to cut loose with a track so raw, raunchy, and unapologetic that it practically sweats through the speakers. Number 13, Bitch, The Rolling Stones. It's nasty, gritty, and completely unfiltered. Bitch by the Rolling Stones isn't just a song. It's a punch in the face, a swaggering strut, and a middle finger to radio censors everywhere. Released on their Sticky Fingers album in 1971, it's a track that drips with attitude. The horns blare, the guitars grind, the lyrics sneer. It's Jagger in full peacock mode, snarling about love, lust, and frustration with a devil's grin. The riff hits like a car crash, and the rhythm section drives the whole thing forward like a freight train with no brakes. Too dirty for early 70s radio, it still became a live favorite and one of the Stones' hardest-hitting tracks. Because sometimes rough edges are exactly what a song needs. And while the Stones were grinding their way through the gutter, the next artist on our list was about to crank up the glam, sharpen the lyrics, and sneer his way into rock history. Number 12, Queen Bitch, David Bowie.
She's
It's sharp, sneering, and glam rock at its most razor-edged. Queen Bitch by David Bowie is a 2-minute, 47-second blitz of glitter, attitude, and jangling guitars. Released on his hunky-dory album in 1971, it's a love letter to Lou Reed and the Velvet Underground, full of deadpan lyrics, barbed wit, and riff-heavy glam energy. The lyrics are pure Bowie, sarcastic, strutting, and full of sly jabs at the underground scene. She's so swishy in her satin and tat, in her frock coat and bippity-boppity hat. It's a song that sounds like it's smirking. Too raw for mainstream radio, too weird for top 40, it still became a fan favorite and one of Bowie's most influential tracks. It's punk before punk, glam before glam, and attitude before attitude. And while Bowie was cutting loose with his leather boots and skinny jeans, the next artist on our list was about to drop a track so controversial it practically invented the idea of shock rock. Number 11. Dead Babies, Alice Cooper. It's dark, twisted, and pure nightmare fuel. Dead Babies isn't just a song, it's a provocation, a middle finger to radio censors, and a dare to every parent who ever feared rock was corrupting their kids. Released on Alice Cooper's Killer album in 1971, it's a track that pulls no punches. The lyrics are shocking. The guitars slash like broken glass, and Cooper's vocal delivery is pure menace. It tells the dark and disturbing tale of a neglected child, a twisted nursery rhyme for the dysfunctional and deranged. It's black comedy, performance art, and psychological horror all at once. Not surprisingly, it was too much for most radio stations, but it became a live staple and a fan favorite, helping Cooper build his reputation as rock's ultimate shock artist. And you can help us build our reputation by subscribing right now. And while Alice Cooper was pushing every boundary, the next band on our list was about to strip rock down to its raw, primal essence, with a track that would become a proto-punk anthem and a sonic punch to the face of mainstream rock. Number 10. TVI, The Stooges.
She got a TVI. She got a TVI on me. Yo.
It's raw, primal, and completely unhinged. TVI isn't just a song, it's a sonic mugging, a 3-minute assault, and a blueprint for punk rock. Released on the Stooges' Funhouse album in 1970, this track is pure adrenaline. Iggy Pop howls like a cornered animal. The guitars slice like broken bottles. The rhythm section rumbles like a bar fight about to kick off. And the lyrics barely there. Mostly howls and shrieks, but the energy question mark off the charts. Too wild, too raw, and too chaotic for mainstream radio, it became a cult classic anyway. A track that laid the foundation for punk, grunge, and every band that ever wanted to break the rules. And while the Stooges were setting the speakers on fire, the next band on our list was about to bend the rules, warp the sound, and rewrite the book on what rock could be, with a track that would echo through stadiums and blow minds for decades to come. Number 9. Baba O'Riley, The Who. It's epic, explosive, and completely unique. Baba O'Riley isn't just a song. It's a rallying cry, a youth anthem, and a stadium shaker. Released on the Who's Who's Next album in 1971, it opens with one of the most iconic synth lines in rock history, a looping, hypnotic sequence that pulses like a heartbeat. And then the guitars hit. Pete Townshend's power chords crash in like thunder. Keith Moon's drums explode with pure chaos. And Roger Daltrey's voice howls like a barbarian at the gates. The lyrics? Defiant. Don't cry, don't raise your eye, it's only teenage wasteland. It's a teenage anthem for a generation trying to find its place in a world that feels lost. Too long and too strange for many radio stations, in 1971, it broke through anyway, becoming one of the most instantly recognizable tracks in rock history. And while The Who were cranking up the volume, the next band on our list was about to kick down the doors of every bar room in America with a track so rough, so raw, and so whiskey-soaked that it still sounds dangerous today. Number 8, Stay With Me, The Faces.
To tell you that you look like a fella, but you really shouldn't wear your hair that long.
It's raunchy, rowdy, and impossible to ignore. Stay With Me by The Faces is the sound of a bar fight, a whiskey-soaked brawl, and a late-night mistake you'll never forget. Released in 1971, it's Rod Stewart at his most swaggering, Ronnie Wood at his most gritty, and Ian McLagan pounding the piano like he's trying to break it. The lyrics, pure bad boy bravado. Stay with me, for tonight you'd better stay with me. It's a love song with no illusions, all sleaze, tequila breath, and barroom bravado. Too rough for mainstream radio, it still became a live favorite and one of the Faces' biggest hits. Because sometimes loud, loose, and dirty is exactly what rock needs. And while the Faces were kicking up a barroom storm, the next band on our list was about to unleash a track so heavy, so earth-shaking, and so blues-soaked that it practically defined the sound of rock in the early 70s. Number 7, When the Levee Breaks, Led Zeppelin.
When the levee breaks, have no place to stay.
It's heavy, haunting, and utterly massive. When the Levee Breaks isn't just a song, it's a sonic landslide, a thunderstorm in musical form, and one of Led Zeppelin's most powerful tracks. Released on their fourth album in 1971, it's built around John Bonham's monstrous drum sound, a reverb-soaked, earthquake-inducing beat that redefined what a drum track could sound like. The guitars? Dirty and dangerous. The harmonica? Howling like a lost soul. And Robert Plant's vocals? Raw, haunted, and full of doom. The lyrics? A bleak, apocalyptic take on floods, destruction, and the weight of history. Crying won't help you. Praying won't do you no good. It's biblical. It's relentless. And it's utterly unforgiving. Too long, too heavy, and too dark for mainstream radio, it still became one of Led Zeppelin's defining tracks, a blues epic that redefined the genre. And while Zeppelin were rattling the walls with their apocalyptic blues, the next band on our list was about to take things even further, pushing their sound to the breaking point with a track that stretched the limits of rock far beyond anything radio could handle. Number 6, Whipping Post, Live, the Allman Brothers Band.
Oh, where let that be woman make me out of fool. Give all my money.
It's epic, relentless, and absolutely jaw-dropping. Whipping Post isn't just a song. It's a blues rock marathon, a test of endurance, and a masterclass in musicianship. Originally released as a studio track in 1969, it exploded into a whole new dimension when the Allman Brothers Band started stretching it out on stage. By the time they recorded the live version for At Fillmore East in 1971, it had ballooned to over 20 minutes. A long, snarling beast of a track that punished every amp, pushed every musician, and left audiences gasping for air. The guitar solos soar, the bass lines rumble, the drums pound like a heartbeat on the verge of a breakdown, and Greg Allman's voice howls like a man on the edge. Sometimes I feel like I've been tied to the whipping post. Good Lord, I feel like I'm dying. It's too long for radio, too intense for most playlists, but it became a fan favorite anyway. And a cornerstone of every Allman Brothers concert for decades. And while the Allman Brothers were stretching the limits of live rock, the next band on our list was about to take things even further. With a track so weird, so trippy, and so downright mind-melting that it practically invented the idea of psychedelic guitar worship. Number 5. Maggot Brain, Funkadelic. It's dark, beautiful, and absolutely unfiltered. Maggot Brain isn't just a song. It's a 10-minute guitar solo that burns, howls, and bleeds like an open wound. Released on Funkadelic's 1971 album of the same name, it's a psychedelic masterpiece that stretches the limits of what a guitar can do. Eddie Hazel plays like he's possessed, wringing every last drop of emotion from his strings. The backstory? Legend has it that George Clinton told Hazel to play like your mother just died. And Hazel did, channeling every ounce of pain, rage, and anguish into his Stratocaster. The result? A gut-wrenching piece of musical catharsis that shreds through speakers like a grief-stricken scream. Too weird for radio, too long for mainstream, but a cult classic anyway, and one of the greatest guitar solos ever recorded. And while Funkadelic were melting minds with their acid-drenched blues, the next artist on our list was about to drop a track so raw, so primal, and so sneeringly British that it practically invented the punk attitude years before the Sex Pistols ever spat on a microphone. Number 4. Jeepster, TRex.
You've got the universe reclining in your head.
It's slimy, sexy, and full of strut. Jeepster by TRex isn't just a song. It's a swaggering piece of glam rock attitude, dripping with cocky charm and slinky guitar. Released on Electric Warrior in 1971, it's Mark Bolan at his most preening and predatory. The guitars slink, the vocals sneer, and the whole thing grooves like a rock and roll runway show. The lyrics? Pure Bolan. Girl, I'm just a Jeepster for your love. It's raw, ridiculous, and impossible to ignore. Too weird for top 40, too loose for mainstream. But a glam rock anthem that lit the fuse for the glitter explosion of the early 70s. And Bolan's guitar tone, sharp as a switchblade, dirty as a back alley blues joint, and unapologetically raw. And while TRex were primping and preening their way into rock history, the next band on our list was about to kick down the doors of political correctness and crank up the volume to ear-bleeding levels, with a track that practically dared radio to touch it. Number 3. The Human Being Lawnmower, MC5. It's loud, furious, and politically charged. The Human Being Lawnmower by MC5 isn't just a song. It's a sledgehammer to the establishment, a sonic Molotov cocktail, and a blueprint for punk rage. Released on their High Time album in 1971, it's a blistering track that spits in the face of authority, with Wayne Kramer and Fred Sonic Smith cranking out twin guitar attacks like they're fighting a war. The lyrics, bitter, defiant, and full of righteous fury. I'm the human being lawnmower, baby, and you're dead in my sights. It's political punk before punk had a name. A middle finger to the military-industrial complex, and a rallying cry for rebels everywhere. Too intense for mainstream radio, it became a cult classic anyway. A sonic battering ram for every band that ever wanted to burn down the system. And while MC5 were shredding their way into rock history, the next artist on our list was about to drop a track so idealistic, so dreamy, and so controversial that it would divide audiences, anger politicians, and become one of the most covered songs of all time. Number 2. Imagine, John Lennon.
Living life in peace. You.
It's dreamy, idealistic, and quietly radical. Imagine by John Lennon isn't just a song, it's a manifesto, a call for peace, and one of the most recognized tracks in rock history. Released in 1971, it's a simple, haunting piece built around Lennon's delicate piano and whispered vocals. The lyrics? Direct, provocative, and unapologetically utopian. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. It's a rejection of religion, nationalism, and capitalism. A radical statement wrapped in a beautiful melody. Too controversial for some radio stations, it still became a massive hit, topping charts, inspiring generations, and becoming a global anthem for peace and unity. It's soft-spoken, but sharp-edged. A song that whispers where others shout, but hits just as hard. And while Lennon was dreaming of a better world, the final band on our list was about to drag rock into the darkest, heaviest corners of the human soul with a track that laid the foundation for doom metal and terrified mainstream radio in the process. Number 1. Into the Void, Black Sabbath. It's dark, heavy, and utterly relentless. Into the Void by Black Sabbath isn't just a song, it's a sonic black hole, a bottomless pit of doom, dread, and grinding guitar riffs. Released on Master of Reality in 1971, it's one of the heaviest tracks of its time, and a blueprint for doom metal, stoner rock, and sludge. The guitar riff? A slow-motion avalanche. The drums, pounding like a sledgehammer, and Ozzy Osbourne's voice howling like a mad prophet at the end of the world. The lyrics? Apocalyptic, paranoid, and full of cosmic dread. Rocket engines burning fuel so fast, up into the night sky they blast. It's a sci-fi nightmare, a dark vision of environmental destruction and technological terror. Too heavy for mainstream radio, too dark for pop playlists, but a foundational track for every metal band that came after. These were the 1971 rock songs radio wants you to forget. From stoned-out guitar solos to political anthems, from psychotic punk to dreamy utopias, these tracks pushed the limits of what rock could be. They crossed lines, broke rules, and cranked up the volume to unforgiving levels. So which one still makes your speakers rattle? Which track defined your 1971? Drop your favorite in the comments. And if you want to keep the trip going, make sure to check out our other deep dives into 1970, 1976, and 1983. 3 more years that changed rock forever. Click one on screen and keep the music alive.